Everything that we're doing in energy and commerce is related to jobs. 10 years ago, the U.S. economy was 3 times the size of China. 5 years from now, China's economy will exceed that of the United States. So obviously, we need to focus on jobs. Americans understand about supply and demand and oil prices. Next month, we in our committee are going to move the Keystone Pipeline bill, which will be one of the largest construction projects ever conducted in the United States. 20,000 jobs minimum. We're talking about moving as much as 1 million barrels per day from Canada, from the oil sands in Alberta down to the lower 48. And we know that if we don't do it, China will. Alaska. We had a subcommittee markup earlier this week. Shell Oil has spent more than $3 billion trying to develop 2 test wells off the coast of Alaska where they believe that there's as much as 25 billion barrels underneath. It's been stymied for a couple years. We're going to move that legislation to the House floor next month, and it'll be out of full committee next month as well. On the regulatory front, we had a subcommittee markup this week on the Train Act, that is requiring the EPA to do a study on the economic analysis on all the regulations they have before them. Already, we made some progress in that the EPA backed off on the boiler regs and the cement regs. This bill on the Train Act is going to move through a committee next week or next month, and I think it'll be a good issue for us as we look at all the regulations impacting businesses and jobs. Net neutrality. We had that debate earlier this year in the Congress. We know the thousands of jobs have been created by the internet, all without regulatory overview. Yet the FCC is trying to impose new regulations that will stymie the growth of the internet. Greenhouse gases. We had that legislation passed the House by nearly 80-90 votes. In the Senate, we had at least 64 U.S. senators that voted for a minimum of a 2-year delay. Greenhouse gases impact every sector, every sector of the manufacturing side of our economy. We know that, in fact, if those regs are allowed to move forward, it'll cost us perhaps as many as 1 million jobs. We're working together on a bipartisan basis and a bicameral basis to see if we can't slow a halt to some of these regulations that they were unable to legislate that they now are trying to regulate. Next is Lamar Smith, the chairman of the powerful Judiciary Committee.